Hey, what is up guys, Zero here, welcome back to another Lorcana video. Today we are continuing with League Week. This is round 2 of the locals tournament. If you want to catch round 1, it is my previous video, which is also linked on the top right of the screen. This time around we are up against Amber Emerald, a new color combo to our locals we haven't seen yet. And we are of course piloting Sapphire Steel again on the right. Decklist is below as per usual. And before anything else, going into this game, this is actually against a friend of mine that I brought into the fold. He's brand new to Paper Lorcana, so go easy on him with the comments. But yeah, since he's also brand new, he's actually piloting somewhat of a budget deck, way easier on the pocketbook than a lot of the decks present here today. He wasn't willing to shell out so early into a new hobby, but not only is he new to the game and basically new to using this deck, and it's a budget deck, he actually is putting up a pretty decent fight against our so-called meta decks. He took Emerald Steel to 3 games his first round, which is already pretty impressive, but now unfortunately for him, I've lost my first round against the hyper aggro Amethyst Emerald deck, and so we ended up being matched against each other. But here you will see the power of a budget deck and what it can bring, as he also gives me quite the run for my money. He did send me his deck list, so I'll also link that below for those of you curious. But yeah, let's just go into the game because it is well underway at this point. I do get first play, and we see for my first turn I play out my Popsicle, and on his first turn he plays the Cursed Merfolk, a classic play for a discard oriented deck on turn 1. And on turn 2, I do manage to get my Scuttle out. I search and miss, unfortunately, as Scuttle does. Every game I play is proving my point that he is not really performing well for me. Makes my point on why I'm removing him in future iterations. But yeah, again, this is not the most up-to-date version of my deck. If you want to see that, I do have a deck profile out on my channel. But yeah, I'm still going to be testing out different versions of this deck in my local league, so you'll probably be seeing something new brewing in the next set of 3 games that I will be showing. But yeah, on the next turn, my opponent's second turn, he will be playing Ursula Deceiver, and he pulls the Grab Your Swords out of my hand, which is a really good snipe. You love to see it when you play Ursula on turn 2 against a steel player hitting that Grab Your Swords. He did allow me to keep my 1 jump ahead though, so I will be singing that with Scuttle this turn and start getting my ramp going. So far board looks okay for me. I think so. One thing is my opponent is choosing not to quest with the Cursed Merfolk because he is fearful of my Scuttle and doesn't want it to be banished so early, which I think if you're playing this kind of deck, it makes sense. He does have Prince John's, which I think if he's anticipating playing, it makes sense holding back on that. But we see on turn 3, my opponent does play Ariel instead, and I think he forgot how to use Ariel's effect there for a second, so I just had to be like, oh, yep, remember this is how it goes. And of course, again, he's a new player, so makes sense that we need those kind of reminders. But we see that Ariel misses, which is good news for me after I miss with my Scuttle. Very untrustworthy abilities from some of these characters there. But yeah, the turn passes back to me, and we do see my opponent does decide not to quest again. I think there is an issue, of course. Him being new is he does not know exactly what kind of threats I can put on the board. Like, I think it was fairly safe to quest with Ursula there, but I think that just comes with experience. Once you play against decks enough times, you'll know what is safe and what isn't. But yeah, on my turn, after playing Grandma Tala, I will quest with my Scuttle, who is doing wonders in holding back this Cursed Merfolk from questing for free. My opponent on his turn will be playing Flynn Rider before passing back to me without inking. And unfortunately, on my turn, I get up to 6 ink, and if you play against a steel deck, you should know on turn 6 there is the risk of Tinkerbell dropping. So yeah, definitely should have quested with the Cursed Merfolk there before the bomb happened to drop. But yeah, no, it's something to learn from experience, and I will give that experience of, hey, here comes Tinkerbell, watch out, and quest while you still can with your aggro before this happens. But yeah, live and learn for sure, especially for new players. I feel like, trial by fire is a great way to learn, where if I hit you hard like that, then you will definitely remember for next time. I definitely remember a lot of my lessons being taught against new decks. But moving along to my opponent's next turn, he has enough to sing together, playing Look at This Family. He's gonna search his deck. I missed what cards he got, but I think you guys can see if you check out the footage right there. He sings with his Ariel and Ursula. Ariel sings for 5, and combined with Ursula, who is a 2-cost, we get the 7-cost sing. But yeah, after inking, he plays the 4-cost Tinkerbell, which, yeah, we were just saying there, yep, her effect doesn't really do anything here because we don't really have to challenge any of my creatures out there. Or my creatures don't have evasive, at least, either. So, yeah, no effect there. And back to me. I do have Tinkerbell the threat, which kind of could be an issue if with challenge characters if I did not have the grab your sword there to wipe the board, leave the Tinkerbell up because it does have 3 health, but I managed to take care of everything else, and I can now freely quest with all of my remaining characters, jump up to 7 lore right there, and pass it back. And yeah, it looks like I have a control of the game now. I have Tinkerbell, which can remove a lot of threats, and I just wiped out a lot of his board, and he's still at 0 lore because of all the not questing earlier. So yeah, definitely if you guys are playing kind of like an aggro kind of deck, which I wouldn't say this is fully aggro, but it's definitely has aggro elements like Cursed Merfolk and Flynn Rider. Yeah, definitely if you get those guys out, you want to just quest them, get the lore while you can, because especially if you're up against Steel, the likes of Steel will find ways to remove it one way or another. So definitely just quest, no matter how dangerous it is out there, no matter what the board looks like, you just want to get that out there. And yeah, on my turn, I just played my Hiram, which allowed me to get rid of one of my popsicles to draw 2 cards, and I just quested across the board because yeah, there's not much threat on my opponent's board right now. He just has a Tinkerbell, which he would probably rather be questing with than doing any other board clearing, so my creatures are pretty safe. Back to my opponent's turn, he will be playing Ariel, and this time he will hit a song. He hits another Look at This Family, and and he will also quest with his Tinkerbell, of course, like I expected. And seeing that I will be playing here a whole new world to start searching for new cards, I think. So I discarded Zeus and another card there. So yeah, I just wanted a refresher, and since he hit his song, I was like, okay, sure. So we're going to get a whole new hand to look at and hopefully put out some threats. And I do find my dime here, which is very nice. I get to get an additional 2 lore off of the Tinkerbell I have there before questing across the board and hitting 16. So looking at pretty much done on this side. I don't think there is a way for him to remove all of my threats before I finish up here. So yeah, he decides to scoop up, and we're gonna go into game 2. So game 2 here, my opponent will be on the play, which aggro will be much happier to be in this position. And I think he's seen a lot of what my deck can do at this point. I have the Tinkerbells, the Grab Your Swords. He should be expecting it in this following game, so I'm expecting more aggro to come out, which is unfortunate. Going second, I will have to be very much more reactive to the plays coming out, and yeah, we'll just have to see what this deck can put out. Like I said, it is a budget version of the deck, so there's no Ursulas, or the deceiver of all, Ursula at least. And he's actually not running the muses or painting the roses red, which I know these decks do like to do. Those are also very budget options, so if it was up to me, I would definitely be also including those into the deck. But as we see, on my opponent's first turn, he does find his Cursed Merfolk, which is very nice. When you are on the play, you get to come out of the gate swinging, really get aggressive here. Like, yeah, I don't have my Scuttle out this time as opposed to last time, so very free to quest with the Cursed Merfolk here. And he will also add to the pressure on his turn 2 with Flynn Rider. And yeah, it's already looking like, okay, here we go. Here is the aggro part of the deck coming out. On my turn 2, I do find my Scuttle, so I'm here hoping to dissuade his Cursed Merfolk questing again. Unfortunately, though, we see on turn 3 he gets the very nice tempo play of Prince John, which is putting out the threat of being able to draw off of discards. So suddenly attacking this Flynn Rider, attacking this Cursed Merfolk don't look very appealing to me anymore, since I will have to discard a card doing so. He does also sing a Sudden Chill with his Flynn Rider, forcing me to discard a card. I'm not sure if I would do oh well, it's actually not too bad of a play if you're going to continue forcing discards. Very much an okay play there. You do lose out on the 2 lore, so you're gonna have to really hope that you can really drain your opponent's hand if you're going to be doing something like that. But yeah, I will use my Baboom to take care of Flynn before challenging the Cursed Merfolk. I do give my opponent a draw. I do lose a card, but though that 2 lore I'm not a fan of. I don't like him continuing to lore for 2 every turn until I find a way to clear it. So I'm just going to take the hit. I'm going to lose the card and maybe just walk straight into my opponent's plans here and lose my entire hand in the process. But as you can see from my opponent's hand, which is slightly visible on camera right now, he is trying to decide what is the best way to make me pay with a lot of discard options. We see some bare necessities, some sudden chill action in there, I think a Daisy Duck, but yeah, he does end up going for the bare necessities. And if you'll see from my hand, Whole New World, One Jump Ahead, and Hiram were options, and he couldn't hit Hiram because it is a character, and Bare Necessities can't hit characters, but he does hit my Whole New World very smartly, and then he follows with a Sudden Chill, and I choose to discard my One Jump Ahead because Hiram is my only draw option left, and yeah, so here we are. I'm kind of in dire straits, so yeah, I'm forced to ink whatever I got there to play my Hiram, and it just happened to be a Fishbone Quill just to make sure I have a draw option on the board. And I'm just gonna go ahead and quest here with Scuttle, and yeah, it's not looking great. So I have 2 cards left, the 2 cards I drew from Hiram. If I'm forced to discard any more, I'm gonna be running out real soon. I have 1 popsicle left on the board for Hiram to be able to target for his ability. And yeah, not the best position to be in. It seems like the discarding is going pretty well as I'm running out of cards here. It is nice that I still have Hiram on the board though, so if he does not find a way to remove him, at least I have a somewhat reliable draw engine, as long as I keep getting items, which isn't always guaranteed. But yeah, you'll see there my opponent plays Ariel for 3 ink, and I believe he got We Don't Talk About Bruno off of the Ariel effect, and he's also going to play 1-drop Kita to set up his board. But yeah, right now I draw a card and I draw some more, so hopefully I have resolved my card drought. I think it was pretty tactical of me to make sure that Hiram was the last card in my hand. And yeah, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep questing with Scuttle, as that is all he can really do for me right now. And we did play a Grandma Tala to search for some more cards. And things are looking okay for me right now, but we don't really have a very strong board yet. And since my opponent has Prince drawn out, and I know that he got We Don't Talk About Bruno off of Ariel, so that can even change the board state even more. I think he's contemplating playing it right now. But yeah, so yeah, right there, here we go. Ariel is going to sing it We Don't Talk About Bruno, bring Grandma Tala back to my hand. And the second effect of We Don't Talk About Bruno, where he gets to discard a random card out of my hand, unfortunately hits the Tinkerbell, which isn't great. Tinkerbell is a really good card against aggro, as we know. And right there, he's also going to play Daisy Duck, force me to discard again, and I will take out the lucky dime in my hand, which is not the worst thing to discard, but pretty bad that we are losing cards some more. We do have a popsicle still, which is nice, so we do get a couple of cards back. And hopefully we draw something nice here, because oh, here we go. A popsicle is nice. As long as I have Hiram up, it'll keep me from losing my entire hand. I do remember this play, so I end up playing a Fishbone Quill to start to ramp, which normally seems like a good idea. But I've come to realize that if I'm playing against discard, I really don't want to play my Fishbone Quill. Like, it is a really nice ramping tool, but I've come to realize that against discard, I kind of don't want to help my opponent, or expedite the process by discarding my own cards in the process as well. But yeah, we do see here my opponent sings together for 8 Under the Sea, which effect is all of my cards with 2 or less strength get sent back to the bottom of my deck, which stinks because that's all I had out. I had a Hiram, I had a Scuttle, who both fall prey to it, and he actually does play Floodborn Ursula in this situation. Floodborn Ursula, which on play, or not on play, on quests, gets to discard songs from my hand, which I didn't think too hard about it at the moment because I didn't really have an answer, I guess. But on my turn with 7 ink, I play out my Simba, and his effect, a card I was still testing at the time, he on play and on banish, when he challenges and banishes, he gets to deal 2 damage to a character or draw 2 and discard 2, and there I decided to banish the Kida, which was already on the board. And here we go. Ursula is gonna use her effect on quest, and we'll see there I had a whole new world in my hand, which he takes out. And here's where it comes. So I had chosen to play Simba the turn before. Obviously, so I had Simba, I had Tamatoa, I had a whole new world. It looked kind of nasty to play the whole new world because, well, one, I would have been discarding, or actually, I had a Fishbone Quill out, so I could have inked away. So I still would have had to discard 1, so I think that was the correct play. I should have definitely went for the whole new world. I really disrespected the Ursula there. I think I don't see her often enough that I was wary of her, but that was a big mistake where now I only have Tamatoa left in my hand after I lost a whole new world, which was my ticket out of this situation, I think. But yeah, here I'm just explaining how ward works, where the Prince Johns were immune to my Simba's ability, so he didn't have to worry about them being sniped here. But yeah, going forward still, I think my opponent chooses not to quest, and unfortunately, because of that decision, I do top deck a nice little ability here. First, I will be taking the Ursula out with my Simba and dealing an additional 2 damage to one of the aerials, and we'll see it. So I had an a Tamatoa in my hand, but here I top deck a nice answer to a lot of the board right now, which we should see in a moment. I think I'm debating here, should I play the Tamatoa to kind of put pressure on the board, or should I answer the board, which I end up doing with my top decked Grab Your Swords, and take out the damaged aerial and the 2 Prince Johns, and ease my burdens a little bit. But my opponent here still has the aerial, still has the Daisy Duck, which is concerning for sure. I'm still worried about, we don't talk about Bruno would be devastating here if Ariel sings it and sends my Simba back. Instead, we'll see something even worse that I wasn't considering. We have Chernabog, and I did see my opponent checking the discard a couple times during the game, and I was already like, oh, I wonder why that's happening. This would be a good indication that Chernabog is coming down, but I'm starting to realize, ooh, I don't really have a good answer against this card. Chernabog is big, and I would need one of my flat removals, I think, to remove it. So I would need my Let It Go or something like that, because Simba can't do it, and Tamatoa is not even that great into it either. But we do see my opponent also adds insult to injury with the sudden chill hitting the Tamatoa in my hand anyway, so I was down to top decking, and my top deck is a Cogsworth, which is not a bad card, but we'll see. I'm still having issue. We'll see. I changed my mind. It was a pretty bad card where yeah, Chernabog is not a Chernabog answer, but it is prey to an Under the Sea. So from singing that again, we'll see. I am in a bit of a pickle, if you could say the least. To add insult to injury, my opponent plays Cricky here, who is another 3 lore quester along with Chernabog, and he's already at 12 lore against my 4, already not a good situation. My top deck, I get my Ariel, which could help me quest if I get the chance, but yeah, I have Simba attack the Ariel, use the ability to also take out the Daisy Duck, and now I only have 2 3 lore questers to worry about, which is already basically game, because yeah, he has 2 3 lore questers here. He's going to get up to 18 this turn, and I don't think I have a reliable way to get rid of both of them, and if one of them stays on the board, it is GG. So yeah, I lose a game. I lose a game to this budget deck that my friend built off of a whim. So very, very doable, guys. If you guys don't have the money to shell out on this entire game to get one of the best meta decks, you can win too with a budget deck. So yeah, we are going to be moving on to game 3 here. We did lose game 2, so it's kind of nice here to reflect on what went wrong, what we can do better. In our post-game analysis here, we could kind of see, oh, I should have probably played the Whole New World back then, the one that got discarded by the Ursula, because I knew that the Ursula was on the board. I could see it coming. I knew, or I should have known that that was going to happen, and prioritize playing that over the Simba. I think at the time I didn't catch that though, but even at the time I'm probably thinking here what went wrong, and what went wrong is most definitely that I ran out of cards. I'm playing against discard and I got my hand discarded, and I should have realized that, I kind of aided and abetted in that with the Fishbone Quill action. So in retrospect here, I should be more mindful of my hand, how many cards I have left, what I'm inking, what I'm playing, and what the board state is. Should I be playing some of these cards, or should I be inking more than I need to? Because realistically there, I didn't need more than 7 ink. I think I played my Simba. I could get up to 8 ink just in case I wanted Tamatoa, and then 9 ink if I want to play the dime and use it, or maybe play a popsicle after the Tamatoa. But we can see that I never got to that point, so I shouldn't be worrying about that. I should be sticking probably to 7 ink at most there. So definitely wasted cards into my ink there. But yeah, game is underway, and we'll see that I'm kind of fortunate in this game. We'll see that my opponent unfortunately had no turn 1 or turn 2 play. His hand was full of 3 cost or above cards. I think I saw a couple Ariels. I see the Prince John that he just played on turn 3. He had Kita, the Floodborn Kita, and such. I did have my Popsicle on turn 1. I had my Scuttle on turn 2. On turn 3, I didn't have an optimal play either. I had to just play a single Popsicle, I think, or no, sorry, the Fortisphere. Basically a popsicle. But yeah, on my Following turn after that, I do get to play Hiram, which is already looking way better. My opponent didn't really have a chance to discard my hand, and I already have my solid card draw on the board, and I will continue to draw our cards off of him. My opponent did play Ariel on his turn 4. And I'm really liking this board a lot better because I know I have a good hand now. I'm not really in danger of losing my hand like before. But yeah, turn 5, I get my Grand Matala out to get more pressure on the board. And I just keep questing, so it's looking like I get to be the aggressor this game. It does definitely help that my opponent didn't have turn 1 or turn 2 plays, but yeah, that totally happens. Happened to me on multiple occasions too, but yeah, on my opponent's following turn, he gets up to 5 ink and he plays his Floodborn Kita to drop all power on the field before comboing it with Singing Under the Sea with his Ariel and Prince John and sending all of my cards back to the bottom of my deck. Pretty good play. I think the one thing is, since my Hiram and my Scuttle were already pretty low on will or in strength, they would have been taken out anyway. It's not the like end all be all play that it could have been. It does send my Grand Matala in addition, so definitely if there was no better move, that was definitely a good one to go with. We do see here my opponent is going to play Bare Necessities. A good part of my hand is not characters, so he gets pretty good choices there. But I do show my opponent here that, hey, the rest of my hand is Hiram and 2 Tinkerbells. And I tried to stress to him over there that, hey, I have 2 Tinkerbells here. We should start getting a move on. I'm trying to signal that the Prince Johns aren't as safe as he probably thinks they are, because they do have ward. They're usually immune to removal. But in this case, my Tinkerbell is going to continuously do area of effect damage. They're going to slowly be chipping away at this Prince John's, and I was just kind of hoping he would catch the hint here, but yeah, he plays a sudden chill, forcing me to discard, so I just get rid of my 1 jump ahead. But we pass over here to me, and again, there's no questing, which I understand because I have a Tinkerbell on the board. It's very hard to quest in the face of a Tinkerbell, but yeah, I don't know what I would do in this situation. It's not a good situation to be in, to be fair. I don't think there was a right answer there. I think if he quested, if he didn't quest, it would kind of be the same scenario. He could quest across the board there and hope to get out of it. I guess this is where keeping the Kita might have been helpful. If he had not played Kita before just to get rid of my Grand Matala, he could have maybe played something else and then played the Kita here on this turn, where the Tinkerbell would be weakened, and then he could quest across the board kind of almost safely, because I don't think Tinkerbell could have removed anything. I think he could have taken out a Prince John, or the 1 health Prince John that could have taken out, but yeah, no. Yeah, I guess that isn't an answer. He would have to keep that Prince John up, but then he could quest with everything else, I think. So that was an option. If he had maybe a Cricky in his hand, which I think I saw him ink 1 earlier. So maybe if he had held that Cricky, played it instead of Kita, and then on this turn, played Kita and quested with everything except for the Prince John that could have died to Tinkerbell, that would have maybe been an option. But yeah. Over here now, he is going to quest. I think he is seeing that the board is starting to become a problem, where with 2 Tinkerbells on the board, there wasn't going to be a chance to quest safely. So I think he's just going to go for the quest here. And this is actually a very interesting turn, because here I'm trying to debate how to wipe the board, when I happened to look up at the clock and see that there was 15 seconds left in the round and I had to get a move on. So instead of finishing wiping the board, I quest with the Tinkerbell because I had to end my turn right there so that the turn 0 now. So if you guys don't know how this works, when we run out of time, we have 5 turns to finish the game. So whoever's turn it was on when the clock runs out is turn 0. Then it's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the 5th turn, if you can't win, it ends up being a tie. So I knew I was ahead here. My board looks better, but I don't know if I will have the time to make it to the end of the game. So I want turn 0 to be my opponent's turn instead of that current turn I'm on, so I had to end the turn quickly. And not only that, I have to gain lore when I can. So that's what happened with that awkwardness there, where I was obviously planning to wipe the board. That's why I attacked, and I did the damage to the Kita when I should have attacked the Prince John and just done the damage to Ariel to wipe both of them instead. But instead of that, I did a weird attack and quested there because I was running out of time. And yeah, here I think my opponent is trying to find the best way to stall, and he's pretty safe in assuming I won't be attacking him because I need to quest now. I'm trying to make it. But yeah, here comes down my 3rd Tinkerbell to take out a lot of the board. And I think I just have to quest here. I have to make it. As you can see with the die in the middle, I'm trying to signify the turn. So I end my turn there after questing. We are on the 2nd turn out of 5 before the tie. And I'm at 13 lore, so it is doable to end the game. But I'm feeling like it's going to be pretty close because here it is. My opponent is going to be on turn 2. I'm going to be turn 3. And it's going to be my opponent on turn 4. So I have to end in the next 2 turns. I have to finish. So yeah, pretty doable. But if you'll notice, if I didn't rush to end my turn there, it would have probably been a tie because I would have had to win in the next turn, which is this coming turn, which I had lethal on the board. But now you'll see he's starting to remove. He plays Cloud Kicker to remove my Hiram, and he's going to play We Don't Talk About Bruno to remove one of my Tinkerbells. I would have tied against this budget deck. So I'm telling you, this budget deck, or any budget deck, if done well enough, you can take games. You can take games against meta decks. It really helps if you understand the decks you're playing against. But even you see my opponent here, my friend is new to playing against my deck. He didn't really know what I could do, but he still almost took me to a tie. And like I said earlier, he took Emerald Steel to 3 games as well. So there's one of our friends helping us with counting turns. But yeah, I'm gonna just barely make it. This was a really great game. I enjoyed it so much, and I'm glad my friend is enjoying Lorcana too, even though I barely, thanks to really quick foresight, realized that I could win the game just barely here. So yeah, I almost tied a budget deck. You guys can do it too, or you guys can win. So yeah, he's gonna scoop it here, but no, really well played. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the game as much as I did, and I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.